So things seem to have really quieted down as it pertains to the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie. I haven't thought about it since I went to go see it. There's not been a lot of chatter anymore on the internet about Dungeons and Dragons. It seems like with the release of the movie and the movie really not doing all that well in the box office, seems like all the voices have kind of disappeared. And so I wanted to kind of explore this, and I kind of was asking myself, well, how well did the movie do? I hadn't heard anything, haven't really seen anything. In fact, I was just going through all of my streaming services recently, and assumed it would have been on Paramount Plus by now, or something, and it's still not even available to watch it at home yet, at least not here in Canada, from what I've been able to tell. So I figured I should do some digging and how did this movie do, and what's the fallout of it? And well, I stumbled on this article on movieweb.com, and it's a few weeks old now. It was published on May the 27th by David Grove, and it talks about why a sequel is unlikely to happen. I think a lot of us kind of knew that was going to happen even right out of the gate. I think no one was really surprised by this idea, but here it talks about in the article, I guess stuff it says, the overwhelming positive reaction to Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves has created the perception that the film was a big success. A lot of the people who I know who saw it really, really liked it. A lot of the comments and everything that I saw online, people really seem to enjoy the movie. But I think its biggest fault was it just tried too hard to be a Marvel movie. It felt way too much like it was trying to be an MCU movie and just didn't really embrace being Dungeons and Dragons. At least that was my take on it. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was great. Thought the humor fell flat in a lot of the times, but it was an enjoyable movie, and I do want to watch it again if it ever shows up on one of my streaming services. So, but he was talking about how the sequel is inevitable. It is not a certainty. It says here, however, the reality of Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves was a box office failure for the film's distributor, Paramount Pictures. Prospects of a sequel now seems remote. And then it gets down further on in the article here talking about exactly how much money it made. So here we can see, typical marketing costs for blockbuster Hollywood studio range between 75 million, 150 million. And here it talks at above that, that it grossed approximately 207 million at the box office worldwide against a reported budget of about 150 million. So you do the math, hey, you made $57 million, right? That's got to be good. But as you jump into the marketing, 75 million to 150 million, well, that means you're down 20, anywhere between 25 and nearly $100 million. Now, it's a lot of money. Now, it's kind of nuts because um, this movie was advertised everywhere. Like everywhere I looked, this movie was advertised. There were posters for this like all over my city, on the bus, in subway stations. Like it was everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. It was being promoted everywhere here in my city. So I'm going to assume that was everywhere in North America. Maybe not, but it was hugely, hugely promoted. And then, of course, then you got all the other additional costs, like the movie theater costs and how all of that stuff works out. And so here it's saying, that the movie had to gross between 400 million and 500 million just to break even. And so it only hit 207. So if it only hit 207, that's $193 million more that it needed to make to break even. That's a big, big, big loss. Then it compares it to Black Adam, which was a bust as well. And so for this reason, this article is saying that that's why a sequel is really unlikely. And with the mess that we've been seeing out of Wizard of the Coast, the mess that we've been seeing with how this property is being handled, it's not really a surprise. Now, it's disappointing. I mean, I would have loved for this to have been good. I really was hoping it was going to be great. I love the cameo about the original 80s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon characters popping into the movie. I thought that was brilliant and really loved the fact that they added that in there with the speculation about a Dungeons and Dragons TV series and keeping my fingers crossed that it's Dragonlance because this is my big giant Dragonlance collection over here. You can't see it where the camera is, but I've got like about 80 Dragonlance books here. Love Dragonlance, but I really don't want them to mess it up either. So I don't know. All in all, how are things looking for this property, Dungeons and Dragons, getting off the tabletop and actually kind of getting into broader entertainment? It's just not looking very promising unless they can turn this around. So, would love to know what you think about this state of Dungeons and Dragons entertainment. Are you surprised that there's no sequel? Still hoping, fingers crossed, that there's going to be one? Wherever you land on this opinion, put it down in the comment section below. And I so appreciate you being a part of the community here. Really means a lot to me. And until the next video, God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.